I'm good, guys. Welcome to our Sunday series. Welcome to our Sunday series where we're having the conversations. And considering that we are still May, right? Considering right now it is still May, so we are talking all things trade unions. Today we are talking all things trade unions and all things about the workers' rights, because May, it's International Workers' Month. It is International Workers' Month, so we are talking all things the workers' rights, all things trade unions. So welcome to the platform, the agenda. Feel free to comment. Feel free to leave your comments on the comment section below, so we can hear your views and what you make of today's topic. Today's topic, we are talking about the role of trade unions and why trade unions, right? We're talking about why trade unions have become useless in South Africa. We've seen over time the number of members that the trade unions are losing. Trade unions are losing members at a very alarming rate. And this forces us or compels us to ask the question, but why are trade unions losing members? And actually, why are trade unions becoming useless? Why are trade unions becoming useless in South Africa? Why are workers no longer finding trade unions appealing? And this is not because all of a sudden the situation allows for workers to just work without having any trade unions. No. But it is because trade unions are now failing. It is because trade unions are now failing to cater for the workers, to cater for the workers' rights. Therefore, making them unappealing to the workers. Because the core business of a trade union, is to do what? Is to serve the workers. How does it serve the workers? It serves the workers by making sure that it advances and at the same time defend the workers' interests. You see? Because if you look at the statistics, you'd realize that of the whole South Africa's, what we call South Africa's workforce, only about 24 to 26% is unionized. Do you see how bad it is? That only about 26% of the workforce is unionized. You see? Greetings to you, Ashla Kubeka. Thank you for joining the conversation. You are welcome to the platform. Feel free to make your comments and your views. Okay. Siyabingelela. Good morning to you, Ashla Kubeka. I've recognized you. Thank you for joining the platform. So now, with workers now joining these trade unions, they join them with an expectation that their rights will be defended and their interests will be advanced. You see. But now you begin to pick up a situation where you've got these trade unions. They exist, but they're no longer paying attention. They're no longer paying attention to the core business of why they exist. And that core business is defending and advancing the workers' interests. You see? You've got workers. Sawubona Sibahle Macintosh. Welcome to the platform. Thank you for joining us. You are welcome to the platform. Feel free to make your comments and your views known on the comment section. So with these trade unions now focusing more on the politics And of course, I'm not suggesting that trade unions should be apolitical, because we've always grown to understand that labor, you cannot separate labor from the broader politics. You cannot do that. You see? Welcome, Katrina. Welcome to the platform. This platform is the agenda. It's all about the politics. We're talking the politics, the social issues, including the labor issues. That's what we're dealing with about here. So when we say, remember I said politics encompasses economics, social issues, labor issues. All of those issues talk to the politics of the country. All right. Sebastian Macintosh, the platform, what we are talking about here, it's about the trade unions. Today we are talking about why the trade unions are useless in South Africa. Okay? For those who are asking about this, I'm in South Africa. I'm streaming live from South Africa. To say why are workers finding these unions to be useless now? Because a worker expects their rights to be defended, they expect their rights to be advanced. When a worker is confronted with an issue at work, right? Greetings, Monet Vumbi. Where do you live? I live in South Africa. Harassment in the province is the Free State. The town it is harassment. So the worker expects that whenever they are confronted with a problem at work, right? And a worker is confronted with a problem at work, they expect that a trade union, will be able to take up their issue, right? Able to take up their issue with management. Then if the issue is not resolved at the management level, take it to the bargaining council, to the relevant bargaining council for that sector. Okay? If there's no bargaining council in that sector, the issue to be taken to the CCMA. You see. Katrina, you said you read about Elon saying South Africa is racist. Elon Musk himself is a racist. Elon Musk is a racist who's doing whatever whatever it takes to degrade South Africa, because he wants the interests of the white minority in South Africa to be preserved at the expense of the black majority, which are natives in South Africa. See, so that is why Elon Musk says South Africa is racist. He says South Africa is racist because merely South Africa is advancing the policy that seeks to redress the injustice of the past. So that cannot be characterized as being racist. Of course, we can always visit South Africa. What Elon Musk is portraying about South Africa cannot be true. It is far from being the truth. So I'm interested to hear you guys that if you reside in South Africa, those who have interacted with trade unions in South Africa, do you guys still find them to be useful? Do you still find trade unions to be useful for your own cause, in terms of making sure that they defend your interests as members, faceless members, that they're able to defend your interests, and not just defend your interests, but also advance them? You see, so I want to hear that you guys share the sentiment that I'm sharing, that actually I'm finding them to be quite useless right now. And I'm saying I'm finding them to be useless at this stage because, as someone, I'm from the trade union. For 13 years, I was in the trade union movement. I grew up in the trade union movement, but now I'm just operating as a labor consultant. You're having situations of workers who belong to trade unions, but they've been frustrated by trade unions for so much that they end up seeking for assistance outside of the trade union. This is despite them paying subscriptions to the trade unions. Trade unions are messing up people's cases, therefore messing up people's livelihoods. People are losing their livelihoods, even if it's the simplest of cases, because the trade unions are failing to do their basic job, their basic work. You see. Okay, no, thank you for joining the platform, Katrina. I see you say from California. You are welcome. You're most welcome to the platform. Even to come to South Africa, you are most welcome. Never believe what Elon Musk and his propaganda machinery are saying about this, about the country. When they say South Africa is racist and that is the so-called genocide, white genocide in South Africa, there's no such. That white genocide lives in Elon Musk's head and his fellow racists. You see. So you say I had a co-worker from Africa and she always complained that the food in the United States always tastes like plastic. I don't know, because I've never been to the United States of America. I don't know how the food tastes that side and all of that. But probably it's because that co-worker had gotten used to the food in Africa, so it become difficult to acclimatize to the food from the United States of America. You see. So, and going back to the topic, what you get in there's not even an effort. There's not even an effort from the trade unions to rectify the situation, because a worker will be let down. A worker will be let down by an organizer at the local level. See, then the worker will report the matter or will come to people like myself to say, can you assist me to now go to the upper structures of the trade union, be it the regional level, the provincial level, and the national level, you see, to do what? To try and report this matter. To say, but this organizer, this official is failing. Nyakalo is failing. You see, is failing to do their work, and therefore is compromising this worker and this worker's family, compromising their livelihood, putting their livelihood at danger. But the upper structures of the very same trade union will not bother to attend to the matters, to ensure that whatever the complaints that the worker is complaining about is being attended to, and the situation is being rectified. Because when workers join the union, mainly is to ensure that the job security, that their jobs are secured, that workers are cushioned from exploitation. But when a trade union then fails to do those basic requirements of why a trade union exists, then how do you then expect workers will still join trade unions? What will be the motivation? What will be the motivation for the workers to still continue joining trade unions when trade unions have shifted their focus away from the core business of serving the workers and advancing the workers' interests? I mean, if you look at all these failures, and it's not just one union, it is almost all these trade unions. So when you look at these failures and all of that, then it begins to explain that why only about 24 to 26% of South Africa's workforce belongs to trade unions. And with that means that trade unions no longer have the type of influence that they had in the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, and probably the early 2000s in South Africa. That influence has diminished. Look at COSATU, the biggest trade union in South Africa, the Congress of South African Trade Unions. What has happened to COSATU? Of course, you know there was a split in COSATU after the expulsion of the then biggest affiliate of COSATU, the trade union that I belonged to for 13 years, NUMSA, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, when it was expelled from COSATU. And at the core of that, what caused the expulsion? Because NUMSA was asking the questions, raising the very same question that I'm raising now about the trade unions and all of that. Even worse, especially about COSATU, to say, does it still make sense for COSATU to be in an alliance? For those who don't know, COSATU is part of the tripartite alliance that is made of the governing African National Congress. By then, the African National Congress was governing as a majority party. Because we know that after 2024 national and provincial elections, the ANC dropped to 40%, therefore compelling the ANC to go into a coalition. There's the Grand Coalition that they've designated to term as a government of national unity. So by then, ANC was a governing party with a 50+ majority. So the tripartite alliance is made of the ANC, the South African Communist Party, and the Congress of South African Trade Unions, which is COSATU. So at the time of the NUMSA's expulsion from COSATU, the questions that NUMSA were asked was that, does it make sense now that COSATU, as the biggest trade union federation, to be in an alliance with the African National Congress, which is a governing party? Because the African National Congress, by being a governing party, then it meant that the ANC became the biggest employer in the country. Because government employs more than 1.1 million people in this country, therefore making government the biggest employer. So the question was that, but how to then serve the interest of the workers, the members, and not just the members, also the entire working class? If you are in bed, you are in an alliance with a party that is a governing party, therefore it means you are in an alliance. You as a trade union federation, you are in an alliance with an employer. You see, of course, asking such questions led to the expulsion of NUMSA from COSATU. Therefore, further weakening organized labor. Not just organized labor, but the entire working class was weakened by that. And we know since then, the NUMSA expulsion by COSATU in 2014, COSATU has never been the same. Then in 2017, you had the establishment of SAFTU. SAFTU is the South African Federation of Trade Unions. The people who established SAFTU, NUMSA. It was NUMSA, it was FAU. FAU also was in COSATU. Then they left COSATU to form SAFTU alongside NUMSA, but alongside a very key figure, the longest serving General Secretary of COSATU, Zwelinzima Vavi, who was expelled. He was expelled in 2015 because he had supported NUMSA in its cause, the cause that was calling for the COSATU to break from the alliance. So in 2017, they formed the South African Federation of Trade Unions. You see. But the sad part of that, it is that with this and again, this does not only happen at the level of the federations. This also happens, the splinter, the forming of new unions and all of that, the formation of new organizations also happens at the levels of trade unions. Trade unions themselves as an organization, they are getting fragmented further and further. But sadly, it is that the new trade unions that are being formed, the new federations, they do not go into the rest of the 74 or 76% that of the workforce that is unorganized. No, they only fight. All of them are fighting for this 24 to 26% of organized labor. Therefore, they're not touching base of the unorganized workers. You see. So this tells you that indeed trade unions have become unattractive to the South Africa's workforce. And no one can really blame workers for that. Because these unions are failing. They now only care. The only thing that they seem to care about now is only their salaries and the subscriptions that they're getting from the workers. And this investing arms or investing companies that they've got. That seems to be the only drive, the motive that they have. They no longer care about the workers and the interests in terms of ensuring that they defend and advance the interests of their workers. You see. So I'm interested to hear you guys. Do you guys still find them to be useful, these trade unions? Or do you honestly feel as well that they've become useless? You see. Thank you for tuning, guys. Plus, remember to join the membership to this platform, the agenda to support. Please support us. We've got different categories of membership, starting with the basic one, the supporter can contribute 19 rand, 99 rand, which is about 20 rand in South Africa. Then the second category is that of an enthusiast. You can contribute 80 rand per month. Then the third one, we've got the super fan, can contribute about 375 rand. Then the last one, got the VIP, can contribute 450 to the platform. Because again, it's important that we're able to get the finances. At least we build alternative media platforms from the mainstream media. And to do that, of course, you do need finances to be able to do that for the purpose of research, equipments, and such things. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Please remember to subscribe. Importantly, guys, please remember to subscribe to the platform. Thank you very much, guys.